What is up, guys? WOOO here, back again with another Division 2 build video. Welcome back. Today's build is my PvE Vile Bleed build. This offers so much utility for a solo player. You have so much survivability due to your great short-range skill set, which is the Hive Stinger, which shreds, it bleeds NPCs to death. And not to mention your great long-range effect by using the artillery turret, which is exclusive to the Demolitionist specialization. So yes, you've guessed it, you know what I'm using. This, guys, is a super fun build in any content, in any difficulty. Now, solo, you can say control points are a doddle. They truly are. In a group, perfect. This is fantastic for heroic content and beyond. Use this through countless legendary missions, and you are MVP. You continuously spread bleed for days, and a lot of bleed due to how much status effects you are specced into on this build. Guys, trust me, I love this build, and it's one of the best you can use in the game right now to date. So if you enjoy this build, enjoy the video, you know what to do, thumbs doodle, it helps, guys, it truly does. And if you're new to the channel, drop the woo bomb on the sub button, ding the bell to be notified when I upload my shizzle, guys. Yep, you guessed it, let's woo this. Guys, this is the build I've been using, and you take a look and you can see this is superb. I love this build. Let me just dissect it piece by piece and explain why I'm using this gear set and these pieces. So guys, Demolitionist is the chosen specialization for a number of reasons on this build. The first reason is I switch up quite occasionally if I'm playing solo or if I'm playing group play, whether I'm matchmake or whatever. Now this is perfect for solo. It is absolutely immense for solo play. However, again, for group play, you might potentially want to switch up your specialization and your first chosen skill. That is an option. For me, guys, I've ran this through countless missions on Legendary, and it just shreds. It's fantastic. It really is. MVP for days. Now, with this Demolitionist, there's two factors you need to, again, bear in mind. The first factor is that 10% explosive damage will harness the power of the Vile Mask. So explosive damage is good for this build. And also, not to mention, I'm using the artillery turret, which is exclusive to the demo specialization. Guys, they work out hand in hand, so make sure you spec as much explosive damage as possible on this build. So guys, you can see Demolitionist, that's where I've gone on that option, and there's no offensive, no defensive, 6 utility stats, 1 little blue and 7 little yellows. Let's go through this piece by piece. Guys, yes, this is 726k armor. Yeah, there's no extra bits and bobs because I'm not using Technician. It is literally generic 726k because, yeah, I'm using Demolitionist. The Vile Mask is the key to this build. It's the spread of effects, which is outstanding on this setup. Vile Mask is one of the best exotics in the game, in my opinion. You could potentially use the Waveform holster, which will again garner some more damage, skill damage might add, but this Vile Mask is beautiful. Again, that spread of disease, that status effect is on point, and that's why I feel it works hand in hand with the Vile Mask. With this, guys, you can see status effects and hazard protection, and there is an absolutely god roll 12% skill haste utility mod. If someone will say, can you use another mod on these pieces? Well, every mod I have attached is 12% skill haste. Yes, god sausage roll. And I'm using those because I want to, again, get my Hive Stinger back as quickly as possible because there is a lack of skill haste on the setup. So yes, skill haste I feel is key because, again, I want the Hive Stinger rocking and rolling as often as possible. The Talent Toxic Delivery. Status effects also apply a damage over time debuff for 10 seconds. Total damage dealt is equal to 50% of your concussion grenade damage and increased by your status effects attribute. Guys, this is perfect. Let me demonstrate right now how that works. Let's just take a look at this. Okay, here's my concussion grenade. It is at 1.75 million. 1.75 million for that concussion grenade. And that's the kind, again, 50% of that is going to go through the Vile Mask. Beautiful. Let's see if I switch this up. Now, the next piece is the Channel Industries Corporation. Knee pads. Now, why I'm using the Channel Industries Corporation instead of Wyvernware or instead of Golden Gear is because I want to harness more explosive damage. I get 15% on this one piece. And that's why I'm using this end. Guys, it works a treat. I'm using skill damage and status effects. The skill damage to heighten the damage, the status effects to prolong the tick of bleed. Guys, that's the way to go with these pieces. Now, what I'm going to do now, you see, again, let me just recheck that. You can see 1.75 million. That's the concussion grenade. What happens if I deduct this explosive damage and use this piece as an example? Yeah, let's take a look at the explosive damage now. The concussion grenade is at 1.54 million. Again, I get 50% of that back. As you can see, I have pretty much lost 200k from there because of that explosive damage. Simple. So I need to put that back on. So put that back on. There's that 15% explosive damage. Again, let's just take a look at the concussion grenade. 1.75 million. And that's why I've invested in explosive damage on this build. And that's why I feel it's key for that extra little bit of awesome vial bleed. Now let's go through the EP gear set. What does it do and why am I using it? So we'll start with the holster, and it is Eclipse Protocol gear set. This is a wonderful gear set to use. It really truly is. Now, each gear set has some pros and some cons, and with this gear set, it is best in slot on a lot of skill builds, especially status effects, guys. It is beautiful. So the 2-piece will grant you 15% status effects. Excellent, I need that. The 3-piece is 15% skill haste and 30% hazard protection. Hazard protection does go a long way, especially in legendary content. The 4-piece is indirect transmission. Your status effects now spread on kill to all enemies within 10 meters and refresh 50% of the duration. Beautiful. That means, again, very, very simply, is as soon as that kill goes through, and again, as soon as they get embedded with that status effect, what's going to happen is, you know it, all enemies within a 10-meter radius, all enemies, are going to have that extra bleed. That's why I feel that Eclipse Protocol is a great gear set to use. In terms of attributes, and the song remains the same throughout the build on this, you want status effects. Stack it high, don't go big, because you're just going to spread as much status effects as possible. And the gloves, guys, gloves are very simply, again, it is Eclipse Protocol. We know what the brand set pieces do, sorry, the gear set pieces do now. And again, as reiterate, let's just say status effects, get it everywhere, guys. You're really going to sing really nice tunes with this build, really, because the status effects are going to spread like wildfire to NPCs. Now, the backpack is beautiful. What I like the backpack is the backpack talent. We'll look at the attributes first. Again, guys, as I've said, status effects, get it on there. Skill haste, 12% mod, beautiful. That's going to go hand in hand with the Hive Stinger. And of course, the talent is Symptom Aggravator. Amplifies all damage you deal to status affected targets by 30%. And that is all damage. That's off your weapons and your skills. So that's all damage by 30%. That's a huge chunk. And again, this build is all about status effects and spreading the love. Simple. Backpack essential. It is truly essential on this build. And the chest piece, guys, very simply is, again, the EP chest piece. And what's that going to do? The talent is Proliferation. Increases indirect transmission range from 10 to 15 meters and refresh the percentage from 50 to 75%. Simply done, guys. It's a wider range and a longer duration that they will be ticking for. And that's brilliant, because that means there's more chance of it spreading further and on due to death. And especially heroic content, this is amazing. Okay, but when we're going to look at the legendary content, this is great for DPSs to continuously just pump them full of lead as you're spreading this love. Really good way to go is to have the chest piece and the backpack, in my opinion. Now, guys, let's take a look at the weapons. And the first weapon of choice is the Capacitor. Now, again, there's very many different options you can go along. I've opted for the Capacitor because of the talent. I feel the talent is excellent. It truly is. Capacitance. Shooting at enemies builds stacks to a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage after 5 seconds. The stacks decay 1 per second. The guys, very simply put, 1.5% skill damage at a cap of 40 is 60% extra skill damage. 60%. Can't go wrong with that. And for each skill tier gain, yes, guys, for each skill tier gain, that's a utility yellow Lego, 7.5% weapon damage. Very simply put, 45% extra weapon damage by using this, and 60% extra skill damage. Guys, why wouldn't you not want to use this? It's just so right. Attachments are crit chance, rounds, crit damage, and weapon handling. We know these are fixed because it is an exotic AR. My secondary guys, don't worry too much about the rolls. They're not very good. I need to, again, get a better one. But this is, I feel, the perfect secondary weapon. It is the Everlasting Gaze. Now, rifle damage, crit damage, and damage to armor. The talent, Perfect Perpetuation. Headshots grant 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect you apply. And there's a 16-second cooldown. This is an excellent choice. However, guys, let me just say this one crystal thing. This needs to be said. Now, what people have determined this to be in the past is once you pop a headshot, what happens, again, as long as Perfect Perpetuation is active, all the NPCs in that vicinity are going to get an extra 50% status effect damage and duration. Simple. Guys, that's not the truth. It is to the enemy you headshot. Very simple. You headshot an enemy, that target will receive 50% extra status effect damage and duration. That is how it is, guys. Trust me. So, this kind of knocks it down a peg or two, in all fairness. You could use, if you wanted to, yes, of course, a test subject. If you wanted to, you could use the Harmony if you wanted to. That is entirely up to you. For me, the bread and butter is the Capacitor. It just works a dream with the build. Again, stacking that damage for your weapon and your skills. Secondary, this is an excellent option because, yeah, you can spread that a little bit longer. Again, think of Chungers, guys. This is what you need to use on Chungers. Simply, that's more damage, more duration. That's more chance for your DPSs and skill builders to take these mofos down. Mods, guys, crit chance, rounds, crit chance, and critical hit damage. My sidearm, I do not use this, guys. I don't use this at all. You know, if you know my content in my videos, I don't use it. It is there for show. It is the TDI card custom. Simply in sync. Hit an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds. And again, it's doubled, so it makes it 30% with your skills and weapons. Great. Again, guys, I don't use this unless I join someone and they've got no ammo because of the directives in the mission. Yep, it is what it is. But don't worry too much about your sidearm, guys. You won't use it. Okay, peeps, let's take a look at the skills. The first skill is the Hive Stinger. And don't worry too much about these. Again, every single time. I forget this, guys, really. I need my head checking. What we're going to do is go back and we're just going to check the other skill, which is this, because this will work. The Artillery Turret. With the Artillery Turret, what we're looking at, it is 11.6 second cooldown. Damage-wise, 2.1 million. Guys, this is not the highest damage you would ever see on this particular setup. I understand that. Someone could say, I get 4 million, I get 3 million, whatever, guys. I don't care. Why don't I care? It's because there's a lack of skill damage on this build. You heighten the skill damage, yes, you will inflate your damage numbers. Of course you will. However, what I want is that tick. I want my enemies to tick, which means my DPSs, again, my teammates, are going to really cause carnage with anyone they come up against because he's going to shred them. So I've opted for status effects. Could be higher with skill damage, of course. In terms of bleed duration, it's 12.2 seconds. They're going to bleed all day long with this. All day long. Blast radius is nearly 7 meters. There's 10 ammo, which is beautiful. In terms of the mods, very simply, you want that 10% skill damage mod. Get it on there. 10% damage. Beautiful. 1 extra mortar ammo. Yes, you need that. Get the mortar ammo on there. And your max skill haste, 7.5%. Multi-tool, which is perfect. This is the perfect slot, perfect lineup for me, in my opinion. Now, guys, my secondary skill, which is the Hive Stinger. Don't worry too much about that refill speed. That's not correct. It is actually 2.8 seconds. Yes, it is 2.8 seconds. Ideally, I would like 0.7 seconds. This would be the most OP build in the world, but it isn't. It is 2.8 seconds. If you can shave a little bit off, great. If not, it is what it is. Damage, 715k. Again, I will reiterate, don't worry about that. It'll be much higher than that because of the damage output, of course, from the capacitance, building up those stacks. You're laughing all the way to the WOOO bank. Trust me. 715, yes, I've seen 1.2 million, 1.3 million, blah, blah, blah. Again, don't worry about that. What you need to worry about is the bleed duration. Get them bleeding. That's what you need. That's going to really harness the help of your teammates to make sure they're down very, very quickly, to spread the love from the Vile Mask. So, guys, that's what you're looking at for that. And then we've got, mod-wise, we're talking damage, stinger charges, and health. Okay, guys, now let's take a look at the stats. And again, we'll just do a quick demonstration in the range. As I say with every skill build video, don't worry about your weapon damage at all. You're shooting marshmallows against the brick wall. What's the point in stacking more weapon damage? It's just stupid. What you need, skill damage, status effects, and of course, skill haste. They're the kind of the key combination, the recipe, to make sure that you are rocking it and rolling to do as much damage as possible to NPCs. So your all weapons damage bonus 10%. Again, it's nothing. 30% AR damage. Let's take a look at the armor onwards. 726k as discussed. There is 50% hazard protection, which is nice. Again, especially in legendary content, there's times when you could go down. It's nice to have that extra bit of survivability. And we have the skill haste, which is 61%. If you can get that any higher, then happy days. But you can see, guys, with the build, I can't do that. There's just impossible. Unless I switch out some status effects for skill haste to get me to 73%. But, guys, I'd rather have the status effects. And, guys, that is about it. Let me just demonstrate this in the range. Now, what I'm going to do is this very quickly. It's my NPC, right? Shoot him in the head, yeah? That's perfect perpetuation. Right, let's just drop this. And what will happen, you see, that will just take forever because it's going to add on that time. Extra 50%, and that's where it comes from. Exactly there. The perfect perpetuation, yeah, as good as it is. Yeah, that I'd only use that on chungers. Use that on your big enemies. That's where you're going to see the most benefit from that. You can see. Again, that's a nice number to have. Just keep tuning that out, that damage. And that is beautiful. Right, what we're going to do is just switch to this. Switch to the capacitor. Again, let's just drop that. And let's just build up those stacks. Kill this NPC. Causes some absolute carnage. Absolute carnage, and that's why I feel is the best way to go. And this is why I like this. I think this is an immense combination to have that capacitor. You're laughing all the way to the bank. Let me just use that one. That one. You can see this bleed is fantastic, and it's continually bleeding as well. And this is what you want on the build. Stack up those status effects, get the damage size you can, and you have a build that rocks and rolls in any kind of content. Guys, of course, if you enjoyed the build, enjoy the video, thumbs doodle, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.